And you have said that what is required for enlightenment. And you said that we are living in an age of enlightenment, but we are not enlightened. This is very important aspect of the scheduled topic. Sir, am I audible?
Yes, yes, you're audible, sir.
Yes, yes,
You're audible.
yes. And you have said that sincerity is a indispensable ground of all kinds of consciousness. And you have given class. You have given the core value, 5 core values of enlightenment, and it is also very clear, and it is understood, and it has influenced all of us to know the philosophy of Kant, specifically Kant's notion of enlightenment, and the ethical principle that you have given um, on human reasoning, that it should be equally applicable to everybody, that Kant wanted to know, and you have given your own stand on that, and you have said that enlightenment was was a positive reaction to rise and success of the modern science, and you have given the different aspects of religion, how it provides basis to the objective, reliable, and universal knowledge. And the knowledge acquired through religion is always true and universal. So you have said all the things you have given. They have given um, um, the scope of science, how it is, how science is objective, neutral in its method, and at last, I don't want to say all things. At last, you have given um, the comparative and uh, critical approach to the enlightenment that Kant has given, and how Kant has proved his stand. And you have also given the notion of enlightenment, as Michael Fultus has said, that how enlightenment is more comprehensive and it is more fundamental for philosophical reflection, and enlightenment is the question of religion, that is it. And last, it is very clear that when you have defined the different approaches of modernism, postmodernism, and metamodernism, and we have said that how the idea of enlightenment is the idea of the modernism that Kant has proved. And really, today the talk, your talk has really enlightened us. Your talk has inspired us to do more works, more research works on the concept of enlightenment that Kant has wanted to do, and you have proved your stand on that. Thanks so much, sir. Now, I would like to request Professor Pramod Pradas to take the further approach of question answer session. Over to Dr.
Thank you.
Das.
Thank you, Professor Pal, for your beautiful presentation, and Professor Maharana for your beautiful synopsis. Professor Pal very clearly discussed the merit and the limitation of Kant's Enlightenment. So I shall have my observation later on. So first of all, I shall invite Professor Arnab. Uh, I don't see the full name. Arnab
Arnab
sir, please have your
Mukhopadhyay.
observation. Then I shall.
Arnab
Arnab
Mukhopadhyay.
Kumar
Yes.
Yes, yes,
He's
yes,
from
yes, yes.
Presidential
Sir,
University.
please have. Thank you, thank you. Yes, sir. Sir, please have your observation, sir. Then I shall invite Ranjit, sir. Then Beauty Das. Arnab,
Arnab.
sir.
thank you. Thank you very much, everyone, for giving me this opportunity to listen to Santosh Da once again. He is one of the finest teacher I have never had, but I have learned throughout my life, and still learning so many things from Santosh Da. Sir, I'm just humbly requesting the organizer. Can I take just a couple of minutes to say my just to one or
Yes, sir.
two?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Please continue. Please continue.
Thank you very much, Santosh da. Pranam.
হ্যাঁ ঠিক আছে, ওকে, go on.
হ্যাঁ, the point is, Santosh da, what I mean, this is a very ordinary observation from me, as you can understand, that in one thing, I fully agree with your analysis and the way you have summarized Kant's position in conceiving enlightenment. But what I personally feel like is that since Kant's original essay entitled "Answering the Question, What is Enlightenment?" that
Yes.
was his bitter experience with the popular view at that point of time by Reverend Johann Friedrich Jollner,
Yes. Yes.
and there there was if any question which you have very correctly pointed out, where there was any question regarding the ultimate structure and furniture of the reality, the answer ultimately remains to God. And that was one kind of posit which Kant refused to accept. And in response to, as you have again very correctly pointed out, that this particular essay is very neglected but very important in understanding Critique of Pure Reason second edition also, because this is written after Critique of Pure Reason, the first edition, and before the second edition.
In
So
between. Yes. Yes.
in between period, and if
Mm.
you can, I'm just humbly, I dare not say, dare not use the word suggest. I just humbly want you to think, just give it a thought that this is a particular period when Kant was deliberately trying to understand the exact metaphysical structure. I mean, the way we can conceive it as a queen of the all sciences, the way it is the ultimate structure and furniture of the reality. So in that context, this particular remark of Kant, which you have repeatedly pointed out, that we are not in the age of enlightened era, rather uh, we are just
In
having
in
a
the age of actually we are in the process of enlightenment.
process of enlightenment.
We are
Exactly.
not already enlightened. What is meaning that?
Already enlightened. Exactly. That
Mm.
is somehow, if we can also take the notes of the different opposing view that you have mentioned by the postmodernists, by the feminists and the environmental philosophers and thinkers, absolutely in substantial agreement with them also, somehow there one particular thing which in today's social context also, what Noam Chomsky also very clearly shows his indebtedness to Kant, that somehow or other, don't you think, Santosh, that we are really somehow or other limited by space and time and the understanding of the time? And somehow my understanding is just a reflection of my age. That is one. And second thing that I would like to mention in response to Michel Foucault's paper, Michel Foucault's text, again with the same name, What is
Mm.
Enlightenment?
Mm.
There I find, and this is, Shantas, this is just a humble submission of mine. This is somehow because of Kant's tricentenary. Me and my group of researchers from the Prague Circle, when we have been rereading Kant, and we are in the process of uh, uh, bringing out a publication. There we found that we are using the word enlightenment, but the word actually that used by Kant, the Lumieres, right? Somehow,
Aufklärung. He is using the term Aufklärung in
yes,
German.
in that context. And there, Foucault and Kant both Michel Foucault and Kant, they have somehow a different understanding regarding this enlightenment,
Yes.
because Foucault's debate with Habermas, just recall, there it is almost clearly evident. And
Yes, yes. I'm not saying that they are all same, but
yes, yes,
actually, he in the last phase of his life, he is giving
he has,
respect to
yes,
Kant.
yes,
That is
with reference
interesting.
to, yes, with reference to Baudelaire, he agreed that.
Yes,
And the second thing is that this is very trivial, but as I if I have correctly understood your view, that we can, when we are doing philosophy from the Western perspective, and at least when we are somehow in a system, we try to grasp the system from the meta architecture. There we can somehow accept certain Kantian position with regard to the limits of the reason, because without the limits of the reason, without accepting the limits of the reason, Santosh, even post Kuhnian philosophy of science will be in a baffling position, and there will be no proper theory can be constructed. We can
yes, yes.
either in substantial agreement with Kantian position with regard to reason, and maybe we can criticize Kant vehemently, as is the case with Frege and many others. But till date, the unique thing is that uh, we can never ignore or bypass Kant
Yes,
and
that
do
is the most
philosophy
important thing. We cannot
in
ignore
any
Kant
way.
in any respect.
Yes,
That is
in
that is.
whether we are in the enlightened phase, in the process of enlightenment, we are in the modernity, post-modernity, or what we now call, we are in the
Meta modern.
uh, yes, the meta or the peripheral modern age. Here also there is hardly any provision by means of which we can bypass Kant. At least the way you have narrated, and which I fully substantially agree with you, not because my personal love and respect for you, with reason. This is my humble observation, Shantas. You please correct me if I am wrong.
No, no, you are right. No problem. You have analyzed the whole thing very correctly, and the most important thing you have raised, that is, we cannot bypass Kant in any way. Actually, I have written a paper on Kant's idea of women, his observations about women, and then also there are so many criticisms. But still, what you have reminded me that whatever whoever may be, he is in a particular position, he is in a particular situation, in a particular cultural background. He must have some limitation. And Kant has also that. And
Of
so if
course,
we consider Kant in the way Marx's historical materialism teaches us, then Kant is okay. He is a man with like us, man of blood and
flesh and blood.
etc. Actually, and he has also limitations.
Absolutely.
But he has given some very basic ideas in doing philosophy. Say, for example, and in that context, his ethics, his moral philosophy, his idea of epistemology, we can criticize them, we can find fault, we can find limitations in them, but we cannot ignore them. That is the most important contribution of Kant, so far I understand. Thank you very much, Arno.
And just to add just one line, I'm also very in agreement with a very controversial figure, Faraban, that whereas Faraban, whereas all our means Western predecessors, they have built many system which was accepted, criticized, and all. Kant is the person who has shown so far is the paradigm as to
Paradigm.
to how to how to build a system,
Yes,
and
yes.
that is
System
before
builder.
Kant
System
and,
builder.
and post Kant. Nobody has shown this particular exposition as to how to build a system.
Yeah, okay, okay. That's okay. Thank you. Thank you very much, Arno.
Pranam Santosh da.
Okay.
Thank you, Professor Pal and Professor Arnab sir. Now I shall invite Ranjit Ghosh sir. Sir, please have your observation or give any question to Professor Pal for better discussions. Ranjit Ghosh sir.
Thank you, Dr. Das. Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible, sir.
Yes, sir.
So, uh, Professor Paul, I had a opportunity to meet him in Ravenshaw University in one seminar.
Yes, Raven, sir. Yes.
And this is very important. I should say what he has discussed today is very important because for the students of philosophy, mostly Kant is discussed from his metaphysical and epistemological
Yes.
angles.
And sometimes also from ethical standpoint.
Yeah. So the thing is, Kant as the flag bearer of enlightenment, I should say,
Yes.
has tried to establish that reason is the be all and end all of everything.
Yes.
And that is why we find in Kant that Kant is not only talking about, he's not talking about reason as such, but he's talking about pure reason. And that pure reason is it begins with sense and then goes to understanding and ends in reason. So pure reason includes within it both reason and understanding, as well as it starts with sense. Now, with this epistemological position of Kant is very important because this is how he could make reason as a universal principle of human nature. But when Kant says that reason is universal and reason is in consonance with the spirit of enlightenment, then we have no problem, because you see all the values of enlightenment starts with reason and nature, that means natural law and progress, liberty and peace, liberty or freedom and peace, as you have mentioned. Now all these concepts which we find in Kant, they are very important for our epistemological and metaphysical position, as well as our social and social position. So
Yes.
Kant has in fact touched every aspects of the human life.
Yes.
And in this tricentenary year, you have very nicely brought the spirit of enlightenment into this discussion, and which is definitely it will lead to a new direction for understanding Kant in some way or other, which is different from usually we know. The thing that when Kant is trying to make reason as the be all and end all of everything, and he can be labeled as the flag bearer of modernism, then he has been challenged by postmodernism. Postmodernist thinkers, they are not ready to accept the values of the Enlightenment. Sorry, this my place is just by the side of the road, so you may be
Okay.
getting disturbed. So all these issues have been challenged by the postmodernist thinkers. But when you are bringing metamodernism, that is actually very important, because you are trying to make reason to make reason as a in the form of a permanent reactivation of
Yes,
an atom.
enlightenment.
So
Yes.
so that is most important. But now one thing I could not get, and that is this is just the observation of your speech, and it is definitely very illuminating, I should say. But one question I have in mind, that how can we get power through reason? Power through reason, if we take power as the political power, or say the power which is take the case of a statesman, take the case of a ruler, and what will be the power
Yes,
of a
yes,
ruler through reason. Because you see, we know that we are having Machiavelli with us, and
yes, sir.
Machiavelli will definitely reject this. That he will say that power has no reason. If you want to acquire power, take any means whatsoever. So
Yes, sir.
how then reason, power through reason, can be taken as a means for making reason as an end in itself? This is the question which you please try to illuminate us.
Okay,
Thank
sir.
you.
I have something to say on this issue.
Yeah.
That is, there is a criticism against Kant. It is from the quarter of postmodernists, that they are arguing that Kant has forgotten the power of knowledge. And that power of knowledge, which has given so many scientific inventions, scientific tools for us, and all that tools have been used in against humanity in First and Second World War. So they are arguing that Kant did not take this part, that is, knowledge is power, and that has been actually a problem for Kant. But still, I shall part with Kant. That is, Kant has never said that reason can be used as a means to anything else. He is always in favor of saying that reason is an end in itself. And if you take the original spirit of Kant's concept of reason, then we can say that this type of criticism cannot be made against Kant. Still, it is true that how knowledge makes power and how reason contribute into them, it is an issue to be discussed in length and breadth. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
Yes, yes, thank you, sir. Now we have with us Miss Beauty Das. Then I shall go to Professor Srinivas.
Good evening, Escapal sir. Myself Beauty Dash. I am a PhD research scholar at the Department of Philosophy, University of North Bengal. First of all, I would like to thank you for your very enlightened talk, and you have explained Kant's idea of enlightenment in a very lucid manner. So, from your talk, it is very clear that for Kant, enlightenment means human beings' emancipation from his self-imposed immaturity.
Yes.
And Kant gives the solution to overcome this immaturity, that is to defy the guidance of others, especially of civil and religious guardians. And even if we look into his idea of religion, then we find that he introduces a different kind of moral religion, which is meant for all human beings, irrespective of their caste and creed. So, this indicates that Kant was immensely concerned about the religious dominance, which is very much prevalent in his Enlightenment essay, and which also compelled him to give a separate kind of religion, uh, which is
Yes,
entirely
entirely based on ethics and morality. Yes.
morality. Yes, of course. So my question is, if Kant's idea of enlightenment and religion meant for all human beings, then can we consider his idea of enlightenment and religion as a step towards secularism? Though we all know that he was not aware of the term secularism at that time, but can we consider his idea of enlightenment and religion toward the step as
Yes, yes,
toward
yes.
the idea of secularism? Please give it a thought of yours.
Okay, understood. Your observations is understood. The problem is he will be giving more importance to our rationality.
Yes,
And
yes.
rationality, actually, religion is mainly based on faiths, we can say. And if you compare faith with rationality, then rationality comes first, is one thing. Another
Yes.
thing is that he is in a period, then the religious dogma, religious obscurantism, everything was there. And he could understand that actually if we cannot go beyond it, then there is no progress of human society. So
Yes.
that was very important to criticize or to set the limit for actually religion. And he's not against religion. He is a pietist, a devout Christian in that context. So he's
Yes.
not
Yes.
at all secular in that sense. Still, he is making a limit for religion. Religion should be within the bounds of reason alone. One of the important book written by him, Religion Within the Bounds of Reason.
Yes.
But he's in a way, he's in favor of secularism, but you cannot say him in the absolute sense that he is secular, because he has a personal belief in Christianity, and he is also a devout Christian pietist. So he can accept some type of secularism, but you cannot say that everything is this worldly. There's nothing otherworldly. We can say that.
Okay.
This much I can say now. Thank you very much, Beauty.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir.
Yes. Now I shall invite Dr. Srinivasanji.
Yes. Am I audible, sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You are audible. Thank you very much, sir. Okay.
Good evening, Professor Santosh. Thank you for your firebrand presentation of Immanuel Kant on enlightenment. It's really wonderful, and I've been listening to all the, viewers post some questions. In fact, I am also tempted to ask you one or two questions. Perhaps you will be in a position to, clarify my doubts relating to Kant's enlightenment. How can we ensure that the artificial intelligence systems respects human autonomy in decision-making process with reference to Kant's notion of enlightenment? Is my first question to you, sir.
Sir, please repeat once again. I cannot hear clearly. Sir, please once again.
Okay. How can we ensure that artificial intelligence systems respect human autonomy in decision-making processes?
Yes. Artificial intelligence is speaking of. Okay.
Yeah. The second question is, what are the potential risks of allowing AI to make decisions without human oversight? How can this risk can be mitigated? The third one is, how Kant's categorical imperative guide the ethical development of artificial intelligence technologies? These are the three questions that are perplexing my mind.
It is very difficult question, sir. Artificial intelligence. Yes, sir.
I don't think so, because Kant's emphasis was only to
autonomy. He was speaking of
autonomy and pure reasoning.
Yes.
Shed away the ignorance and try to learn many things. So if naturally postmodernists, they speak about all this, or even rationalists, they speak about artificial intelligence comparing to the notion of enlightenment of Immanuel Kant. So this is why I'm tempted to ask all these, three questions. I hope you are an enlightened person. Perhaps you may be able to give me clarification.
I'm not very competent with AI. Still, I have something to say that from Kantian point of view, that Autonomy is the most important thing for Kant. Without autonomy,
And decision
nothing,
making.
nothing can we can take decision, and we cannot be moral. We cannot take any ethical decision. In that context, without human autonomy, artificial intelligence, if used, then it may go in different directions. So the basic issue is that how the autonomy of human autonomy can be preserved in artificial intelligence. And that is the most hard, most important question there. One thing is that whenever someone is making a particular software, and nowadays software is going in up to such a point that you can software can mutate itself within his own periphery. And so in that context, it's very difficult question, and very also very serious issue, that how can we control how human can control the use of artificial intelligence. So this is very actually alarming issue, and I have very little knowledge on these things. One of my students is also is actually doing some research on this aspect. He can say something on that. Hemnath, are you here? Hemnath?
Yes. Sir,
Hemnath?
the problem is, if
Yes,
we are
yes,
not able to solve this, these questions,
yes.
then Kant's philosophy will become outdated. That is my perception. That
Outdated.
is my fear.
So if you take artificial intelligence, then many things will be outdated. Not only Kant, there are many other things will also be outdated. Yes,
Then
yes.
how are you going to, put an end to that and then make two ends to meet together?
Actually, the person who are actually developing artificial intelligence, they should be very have clear idea about humanity, about human rationality, about human progress, and all these values. All these
Not only
values
Kant,
should
but
be.
also all philosophers and philosophies.
Yes. Also. So this is actually some specific issues. Some other people can answer to that. Yeah, but about artificial intelligence, I am not very clear on
Yes, yes,
ideas on
Professor
that.
Pal.
Okay.
No,
I think Professor Arnab will respond. Thank.
Or
Yes,
no.
yes,
Yes.
yes, yes.
Santosa, if you can allow me, I
Yes.
would like to say a few words to respected sir.
Yes.
Sir. Sir, would you mind if I say a few words?
No.
No, sir. No, sir.
You go on. Go on. No
Sir,
problem. No problem.
sir, regards for you, still, sir, we cannot probably uh, outrightly reject Kant because in the context of artificial, there are two artificial intelligence. One is called the soft level. In the soft level means using and in the technical language prompting one prompting a AI system. There we can whoever is giving the prompt or the he bounded by uh, understanding and limit. Without the proper prompt, that AI in the soft cannot act or generate any as to what should we should not do in the ethical, much can be done, how much cannot be done in the epistemological context, and so on and so forth. And said certain things regarding the lecture in the chat box. I have found that is also in this particular uh, Kant Shukla sir has written that
to mark reason, nature, and peace and progress to there. Actually, the thing is, Kant reason, not the reason, pure reason. That means pure a priori faculty in the context of product, and in the context of peace, and in the context of also it is able output of the peace resolution, etc. Act of AI is dependent on the in the soft level, dependent on the prompters or the limits of prompters reason, and in the in the of the just the other level, which is generated AI. Many evil things can do such certain good things, can generate results, can generate some. All depends on the variable that was already AI. That it can generate more meta variables. It can object variables, but not any variable, and hence even if it is an auto-generated AI, and if we can care about it is as a it's a diabetic completely out of our control, even if that is so. And then also those elements that created that AI system, meta variable, it cannot surpass that variable, real fake or some misinformation, some kind of improductive, and only in the object level products or outputs which can easily be isolated. Any pure rational, pure a priori faculty product, any so in that context also cannot outrightly reject Kant. I mean, we are also working, we are trying to we are experimenting with AI model, but terms and terminology it's bearing this particular issue.
I
Yes,
will
sir.
be saying something.
My perception is
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes.
exploit individuals, cause harm, or otherwise that they should avoid discriminatory practices, prioritize fairness, and enhance overall societal well-being rather than serving narrow interests. Do you agree with that?
Yes, sir. Absolutely. But the point, context, in the soft level, your question is very pertinent. But in the there, nothing is universal, sir. This is the basic concept of AI, that it doesn't accept anything as static, absolute. That is is always contextual. Nothing is general. Important issue. Usually we those the students, at least the ordinary ones, like consistencies. An AI system is really bother about alpha and not alpha as a particular proposition in position. So universal or nothing general or nothing absolute in that AI. The way the variables basis of the advocacy thesis or the principle of elimination, the result will be according. Kant.
Okay. Or no?
Yes, yes. Thank you. So
And
now
in fact, this is Santosh, no matter how what he says, not equipped with AI system and all, but Santosh in his lecture.
Okay.
I shall invite Dr. Alok Tandon, sir. Sir, please have your observation.
Thank you very much, Pramod-ji. Sorry for joining late and missing the uh, beginning part of the very, very comprehensive lecture. And lots of things that we are celebrating 300. And when we talk about modern philosophy, it is truly said that you can't. And even for
Right,
uh, and for us, I would like to add that Indian philosophers we can't, because
absolutely, I agree with you, sir.
yeah, a lot of things are being done in India. So can we say anti-enlightenment? What is not that if we look into the nearby countries as well as in the other countries in the that there is a backlash of enlightenment, you can say,
Yes, sir.
because
Yes.
Kant, what was he? Though being a devout Christian, he was trying, and now with the sense of religion in the form of revivalism,
We can also.
fundamentalism, and the Buddhism, how
Hmm.
can we look into this historic in response to? That is my first question. Second one is when you talk about related the what you will like to say about, because revisiting the purpose of just putting what in verbatim. If you want that the Foucault's criticism that it should be made somewhat relevant.
Recent context.
So
Yes.
what concepts of Kant you would like to revise and what you would like to reject? This is the second question. That is my personal problem about Kant original. But whenever I think about that we must consider the other, and so this becomes very, very problem because we live in a world, whether we live in pre-modern, post-modernity,
Yes.
the capitalist modernity, we use personal and even for other normal transactions where we take other not as an end. But this high profile suggestion of Kant, I think, look into some other way of the ethical problem of the humanity. Thank you.
Thank you. Very important issues you have raised. The last one, I can speak on the question of end in itself. That I cannot use any time as a means, but every time I should. As human being, he has his own. We often fall short of this type of approach in our behavior. But that does not mean that what Kant is saying is all not acceptable or should be. The point is always that Kantian prescription should be actualized, and in that methodology is to be sought how to use Kantian dictums or and problematic if you take Kant in the traditional interpretation that beyond our actually speaking of objectivity, speaking of transcendence. That context also it is very how to take Kant on this on our day-to-day life. I suppose that Kant is not much interested in actually our ordinary behavior. He's just making ethics looks like what ethics and what is the basic framework of ethics. If you take Kantian ethics in that perspective, then it is regard every being as a rational human being. And another thing, what can be rejected, what can be accepted. It is a very difficult question, many issues, and obviously there are many aspects that we accept it that we should always keep and that in that ideals or Kant's notion of enlightenment should be kept. At the same time, always think that how this idea in a particular context. This is very difficult. Actually, Kant is much more interested in actually system building. But the actual matters of fact actually is different, and it is and about historical context. And Kant is saying all these things. It was just the age of enlightenment or modernity or reformation or the situation and the context was ripe enough to things and try to go on our dogmatic beliefs in different of life. And in that context, it has components are there. Still, I have already mentioned that I could not go beyond in some respect also, could not beyond context. So these are some I can say on question. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Yes. Anybody else? Professor Radhanand, sir, anything briefly?
Okay. Hello. 100 years after his contemplation, our thinking, our philosophizing, we still hold him responsible for many of our ideas about enlightenment. These elements are certainly inspiring. Whatever may be the fault, he had laid down the principle of autonomy, reason, and all these things led to the development of science and
Yes, sir.
technology,
Yes, sir.
particularly to artificial intelligence, as our friend has said. Now, in this case, when you say Bacon said knowledge is power, Bertrand Russell corrected it by saying only scientific knowledge is power, because science has the power to cause enough damage to our earth. It has also the capacity to make our life very simple.
Yes, yes.
And Bertrand Russell also, at the beginning of his treatment of Kant, said, although Kant was not a very important philosopher, his contribution was significant. He outlined it in his uh, History of Western Philosophy. But the word enlightenment drags me back to Gautam the Buddha.
Yes, yes.
Professor Paul, is it just a coincidence, or is there any similarity between the enlightenment propounded by Buddha and the enlightenment uh, floated by Kant? That is one.
Yes, sir.
Secondly, Kant said, give me matter and mind, I shall give you a universe. Now, what is that mind? Is it only reason? Is it only rationality? Or it is only a whimsical contemplation of the unseen because he was a very devout Christian? Obviously, he would be leaning towards metaphysical questions about religion and so on.
Yes,
So
sir.
these two things may be answered by Professor Paul, but
Okay,
before
sir.
that, I would only congratulate him for discussing a tough subject like Kant's philosophy, 300 years old and still progressing. Thank you very much.
Actually, I have not very much things to say on this issue. Gautam Buddha's idea of enlightenment, yes, he was also interested in our ethical improvement, and in that context, Kant's idea also tally with them. And about transcendental ideas about God, etc. Gautam Buddha could remain silent. And in that context, Kant's idea is also there. He's giving, making a line that you should keep yourself within the power of rationality. And I have not actually very read much about Gautam Buddha, so I have very little to say on this. Still, there must be some similarity, I can suppose. Another thing about the matter and mind, Kant's idea of reason has been analyzed by different people by different ways. Actually, Prashant has also raised a question about actually we should say Kant understanding of reason. It is not reason itself, and he's making a distinction, Dr. Prashant Shukla, that reason as it is and Kant's understanding of reason. Yes. Actually, whenever someone is making an interpretation of saying of something, he must have some individual understanding of the thing. And in that context, Kant's reason is also his own understanding of reason. But the question is, it can be defended by other conditions, and he has raised some conditions of its applicability. In that context, his rationality is not just his personal individual rationality. It has some validity, objective validity in some sense of the term is there. And about about his religious belief, just we are told that he was a pietist and very disciplined human being, and very devout, and also actually very moral person. And this much I can say, sir. I have nothing more to add. Thank you very much for raising that issue. I shall
Thank you,
think
Dr.
of
Pal.
this issue later on. Okay.
Thank you. Dr. Shukla is here.
Dr. Shukla is here.
Yes,
Prashant.
Prashant Shukla ji.
Yes, sir.
Yes, please have your observation by your own words.
Yes, sir. The point was, I was always so concerned
once we talk about the core values of enlightenment and say that it is precisely reason, science, and progress. But then, even Plato is not denying that. I mean, he is supporting reason, of course, in the form of ideas, and then, of course, progress, including peace as well in his Callipolis. Now, the point is, if these values have never been denied by any of the other ages, how can it be claimed as the exclusive value of only and only enlightenment? I mean, don't you think that we are carrying such a huge umbrella which can cover everything? So, in that case, of course, these were the values of enlightenment, but I would simply say I don't think that these were the exclusive characteristics of enlightenment.
No, no,
Uh,
you're right. You're right. There are
Gee, sir.
it can
Yes, sir.
be extended in many ways. These are some of the issues I have raised. I have raised.
Thank you. Thank you,
Okay.
sir. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Slukka. So, actually, we are running behind the schedule and we have to stop somewhere. So, uh, others may have something to say by repetition, but we shall stop here. We had all the observers, learned professors, on the deliberation of Professor Pal. We have Kailash Mana sir. Will you speak something, Kailash sir? You are the last person to speak. Will you speak something, sir?
Okay, okay.
Then I will conclude.
Yes, yes. Okay. But one thing that I wanted to ask that somewhere Professor Paul has said that language reflects the world. That is which is the rational minds of the human beings observe. But how do we think that language reflects the world in in connection with the concept of enlightenment of the world of Kant?
Actually, whenever we are speaking of enlightenment and whenever we are making progress in science, etc., so we have to take some symbol and signs to record all these things and to share these ideas to someone else. So language is essential, and in that context, language gives an idea of the world, and that is the thing I have referred to. And I did not delve into deeper on this issue because this is a very problematic issue in analytic philosophy. I could not enter into that. Okay, sir.
But sir, how
Yes, sir.
could you how could we analyze the Indian way of seeing enlightenment in linguistic analysis?
Sir,
How could you
actually,
connect? How could you
actually,
Okay,
connect
okay.
linguistic analysis?
Dr. Mahana.
Actually, I am
Uh,
not very well equipped in Indian philosophy, so
Doctor,
I
yes, yes.
refrain from making any
Yes,
comment on
yes,
that.
yes, yes.
Yes, yes. Yes, ma'am. Better we shall go to Professor Arnabji. He may respond. He was raising his hand. Yes, sir. Your last word, sir.
Oh, thank you very much. Shantazda,
No
will
problem.
you allow me to respond to this?
Yes, yes.
One trivial issue I just forgot to mention. I would request through Shantosda, if Shantosda allows me, in that case, I would like to be a part of such lectures and some such discussions. So if someone from the philosophy family can add me to their group, it will be really an honor and privilege for me.
Yes, sir.
And
Yes.
with
It's
response
no
to
problem. Professor Dr. Das will do that. No problem.
okay, and with response to sir's question, just to mention, Shantosda, you can recall Kant lectures on logic, which was published very later, and we often ignore that. There, Kant has clearly stated that in his third lecture that while writing critique, the three critics he mentioned, he assumed three things to be the foundationally uncontroversial and unchallengeable as for Kant.
Yes,
One
yes.
is the completeness in Kantian, of course, in Kantian idea, not in the technical logical sense. The Aristotelian logic, which is complete. Second is Euclidean geometry, and third is Newtonian physics. And in
Yes.
each case, Kant says that if we cannot produce our knowledge, all and only those knowledge can be evaluated, and all and only those knowledge we can talk about, which can be expressed in some language. And there might be some barrier in different origination of language, but to cultivate, to critique, and to affirm anything which is associated with pure a priori intuition, with pure a priori faculty, is possible only if we can accept that this can be expressible in a language. So that's how Santosh does that claim is in line with Kant also.
Thank you, Kant. Thank you, Arnav.
And in Indian philosophy, I usually prefer to use the term Bharatiya Darshan because I find it, because of my lack of knowledge and my limitation, I don't consider philosophy and darshan is same. In Bharatiya Darshana also, no, whatever is the first point of our inquiry, that is Anikshiki. No Aniksha is ever possible if we cannot express it. Aniksha itself, no Anikshiki is possible if we cannot add the entire edifice of language into it, because if we can even just, for example, as the time is very short, if we can just recall the first 16 necessary objects, necessary padarthas as expressed by the Nayayikas. Uh, However, they are the Aniyata Padarthavadi. They can accept infinite number of objects. The necessary 16 I'm talking about, they have accepted certain things which are directly related to language. Otherwise, there is no point in accepting Vada, Jalpa, Vitanda, Tarka, these as the essential padarthas for any kind of anikshiki. This is my understanding. I may be wrong, sir. If I am wrong, kindly correct me, sir.
Okay, okay. You are not wrong. You are okay.
Thank you, thank you, thank you all for your beautiful participation. All the challenges, criticisms to Immanuel Kant in the period of modernism, postmodernism, metamodernism, these challenges do not affect Kantian philosophy because Kant was very much aware of such challenges and his philosophy starts from such challenges. Therefore, he made a revolution in philosophy. Enough is enough. That was for Kant. Because the way scientific investigation, scientific way of knowing ended in David Hume and rationalism ended in Leibniz. So naturally Kant made a revolution in philosophy. Kant does not avoid the world of diversity. Rather, Kant starts his philosophy from the empirical world. But he is just claiming that how can we perceive? What is the real way of perception? That we can, therefore, his entire philosophy has been influenced by the intuitive knowledge that what can be known and what cannot be known by human mind. So that is the point. So regarding the possibility of a human knowing, Kant examined both empiricism and rationalism. And his unique development, his unique contribution to history of philosophy, his notion of transcendentalism. That when mind believes in transcendentalism, something transcendental, then it is the very mature way of understanding of something. When we were able to transcend something. So his transcendental aesthetics, transcendental analytics, transcendental dialectics, all these philosophical methodology that made it very much clear that phenomena and the distinction between phenomena and noumena, that what can be known by all the possible efforts of human knowledge. So there was contextuality, there was society, there was all types of attempts in both empiricism and rationalism, and Kant was very much aware of it. So Kant's enlightenment shows light that how can our mind be free from the dogmatic chamber? How can we have a dogma-free religion? How can we have a dogma-free socialism? How can we have a dogma-free morality? That was this is the sense of enlightenment. That we should give that light. We should light in the darkness. So, and mind is the very powerful and very precious asset of human being that is accepted in both Indian philosophy and Western philosophy. Because the mind is the only asset. Otherwise, there is no philosophization. There is no philosophy without mind. So that mind should be corrupt, free from all types of corruption, free from all types of self-imposition or extra conditions. And we need that mind. And that is the true sign of rationalism. So not only Kant speaks about pure reason, Kant also speaks about practical reason. So Kant has attempted to imagine, to think of a human life with totality. That yes, there is the influence of a pure reason. By that we can have intuitive exercise to how to perceive things and how to conceive the concepts, how to have a better understanding, mature understanding. Therefore, he spoke about space and time as the intuitive percepts and categories of understanding, and beyond that, we can't know anything else. So there he made a distinction between knowability and unknowability. Now the point is, very beautifully Professor Pal said that religion should be meant as a model of a morality. That means we have to find out the universal aspect that is available in all religions. So contextuality will be there, religious dimensions will be there, religious diversities will be there, but if our mind is groomed with universality, then we shall go with the moral aspect of all religions. What is the common moral aspect, what is the common morality that can be accepted by all the people irrespective of their differences? This should be our mindset. So Kantian philosophy is a mindset that we should go beyond, we should transcend all types of differences. That is the sense of universalism. That does not mean the diversities are totally explained away. That does not mean that we ignore the external world. That does not mean we ignore the religious beliefs or personal beliefs in religion. That does not mean that. But we have to, we should groom our mind with certain a priori universal principles so that we can give justice to our minds, so that we can have a free pursuit of truth. If we do not have the free pursuit of truth, somehow or other we are the victims of our dogmatic assumptions, fond beliefs like this. So that is enlightenment. So Kant does not reject the diversity. Rather, Kant is trying to find out the unity in diversity. That is the beautiful point in Kant's philosophy. So,
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yes, yes. And if you lack having such a mind, you are not a philosopher. You are a follower. How long you will follow? How long you will follow Gautam Buddha? You will follow Mahavir Jina, you will follow Descartes, Spinoza, Leibniz, Locke, Berkeley, Hume, Bertrand Russell. Don't do that. Don't be a follower. You should become a philosopher. You should very beautifully Professor Pal started his paper by saying that we should be free from our self-imposed immaturity. At the same time, we should be free from the external guidance. That means not not only the external factors condition us, we are also conditioned by our inner impurity, our inner ignorance, our inner misunderstanding, our fond beliefs, our preoccupied thoughts, our convinced notions. We should be free from that. That mind is required for a philosopher, and that is the sign of enlightenment. So we do not reject contextuality. We simply focus our impartiality. We should have an impartial, for example, in the court, what we see that there is a lady with a closed eye. That means before law all are equal. That is the sign of universalism. That does not mean cases will come from different angles. Cases are different, they have their contextuality. But when I am a judge, I am judging the particular cases, I should have an impartial mind. I should have an unbiased mindset. That is the sign of enlightenment. If I don't have that mind, then I am a slave, then I am a follower. Then I am a victim of this regime or that regime, this social system or that social system, this governance or that governance. So there is no sense of peace and some tranquility in mind. And in the Bhagavad Gita, it is very beautifully said that Arjuna, yes, whatever you are saying, that is true, that you are not interested to fight against your brothers, against your teachers. But this is not an occasion to fight with your relatives. This is an occasion to fight with principles. That you should protect dharma. Dharma should be protected. If so, dharma should be protected. This is a universal principle. Wherever you go, as a teacher, you should protect your dharma. As a statesman, you should protect your dharma. As an warrior, you should protect your dharma. As a father, you should protect your dharma. So protecting dharma is a universal principle which can be exercised in the facts of diversities, in the different types of society. Wherever you go, there are certain principles are very much cardinal. For example, love, compassion, all these are not different from person to person. That should not be. That should be universal understanding of love, compassion, sacrifice, etc. But the customary values may vary. Customary values may vary. Constitutional values may vary from nation to nation. So we do not reject that. Immanuel Kant is giving importance on that. After all, we have to live in this world. And we want peace. We want to live a peaceful life. And how is it possible? Is it possible only by having a mind of Sthita Prajna, as it is said in the Bhagavad Gita? The niskam karma, that you should do an action only for the principle of doing that action, the sense of duty which can be called jagya. Your action will become jagya if it is done for lokasangraha, that means for all, and with a mindset of a universal principle. So that niskama karma exactly is reflected in Kant's categorical imperative. That yes, I am not a means to anybody else, and I shall not use anybody else as means. I shall do something as taking that as the end. Everything is an end. The country is the end. The person is the end. Wife is the end. Husband is the end. Teacher is the end. Everything is end. So this is a mindset, and this is choice. Either you follow Kantian philosophy or you follow non-Kantian philosophy. Either you become baffled with different systems that are available with you, as that was found from Descartes to David Hume, or you should go with a mind of enlightenment, that I shall have a free pursuit of truth. I shall become a free man. So the fundamental distinction, metaphysical distinction on the basis of epistemology, that what can be known, what cannot be known. Noumena cannot be known, but Immanuel Kant does not reject noumena. Yes, noumena can be understood by practical reason. We have another aspect of reason. Through that, we can understand the practical aspect of religions, practical aspect of ethical values. This is not rejected by Immanuel Kant. So we have to understand the limit of our mind's capacity. And if we do not understand the limit or capacity of our mind, then our very understanding will be corrupted. It is corrupt. It is not pure. So that is the sense of enlightenment. It inspires us to be a free man. We should have a free pursuit of truth. We should have a free inclination towards ethical imperatives. That should not be otherwise. Otherwise, we prefer politics. Otherwise, we compromise with ethical principles. Otherwise, we compromise with the contextual situation. Either you live a life of compromise or you live with certain basic principles. This choice is very clear. Thank you, sir, for your very honest deliberation. And the very beautiful aspect of your personality is that what you do not know, you humbly admit it. This is the sign of, Socrates also told that, I know my ignorance. I know what I don't know. So this humbleness, that indicates your depth and your honesty in wisdom. Thank you, sir. We shall invite you again and again. And the discussion was very beautiful. And we shall invite Professor Arnav Sarji. Sir, please share your phone number with me, and I shall invite you to deliver a talk in the month of December, because up to
No,
October.
no, no, I'm not talking about any just talk. Sorry, I have thoroughly enjoyed the discussion, and amidst this crisis period all over the world, such kind. I'm really Santosda knows. I really enjoy and I really want to learn these different ideas. So it will be really an honor if you can really
Yes, sir.
add
Yes, sir.
me to
Yes.
this. And don't
Yes.
call me sir. I'm really very junior, and Santosda is my. As I said, he is a person I have never had him as an institutional teacher, but I'm like his younger brother, like really a student of Santosda. So please don't call me sir. Ornov is fair enough. Thank you very much.
Yes. You choose suggest a topic. We shall invite you. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Yes, I thank all of you. I thank Professor Ranjit Ghosh sir, Professor Radhanath sir, and all others for having their beautiful observation. And I am very much grateful to. Yes, Sarbani Madam has written something in the chat box, and thank you, Sarbani Madam. And we are very much grateful to Professor Pal for his beautiful deliberation. And after that, the way we discussed all these things from different perspectives, that was also wonderful.
I'm also indebted to the audience, because what I said is much less than what we learn from all the audiences, and that is something which is very important here. I have learned many things and many ideas that should be thought over on this issue. So I am
Thank
also
you.
grateful to you all for inviting me and having such a great discussion, we can say. Thank Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Sir, this is a platform for learning from each other. So actually, we learn from each other, and that should be the spirit. And that is really enlightenment. Enlightenment, the real spirit of enlightenment should go with this spirit that I am not complete. Still, I have to learn something from others.
Yes.
If we are satisfied with our preoccupied knowledge, then there is no question of enlightenment. So that should be the spirit of a philosopher. That we should go ahead and ahead. Our mind should be open. Should be open.
Yes.
Therefore, Kant is called a critical philosopher. Critical in a very positive sense. Thank you, sir. And with this, this session
Dr.
is
Das, we
yes,
can
yes,
say
sir.
one thing: dare to
Yes,
know.
sir. Yes,
Dare
sir.
to know. That
Dare
is
to
what with which Professor Paul started. Dare to
Ha,
know.
dare to know, dare to
Dare
know.
to know. Okay, okay.
Very beautifully, very beautifully, Professor Pal started his deliberation by saying that man should be free from his own self-imposition and the superimposition from the external conditions. Okay, this much is about Kant's enlightenment. We need that type of a mind. That I should be free from the external conditions. What are the external conditions? Religion is external condition. Socialism is an external condition. State's affair is the external condition. Personal relationship, family relationship is the external condition. We should be free from that. And if we are actually free, then we can exercise that freedom on such contexts. This is the crucial point. That is Advaita Vedanta. That is Buddhism. We should transcend our minds to such a point so that we can see the world of diversities and we can exist at and very beautifully Professor Paul indicated something about existentialism, whether others can notice it or not. There is a state of existentialism. How I exist with a free mind, being free from my personal self-imposed immaturity and also from the external conditions. This is the existential state. This is a question of our very existence. Thank you, sir. So with this, we shall close this session. And thank you all. Grateful to all. Grateful to all. Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much,
Thank you.
and good night to all of you.
Thank you. Thank you.